Candace Owens is grieving in the way that I thought that Charlie Kirk's wife would grieve.
You start bickering like an old married couple. Charlie, this is not how you pack a suitcase, I say to him. Charlie, you can't just like put your dirty running shoes on top of your clean shirts, okay? You just can't do that. Charlie, you need to eat something, okay? You're running on fumes, you gotta eat something. Okay, this is not a full meal. Back, forth. Charlie, you gotta buy yourself some suits that fit. That conversation, I was like, Charlie, okay, I get it. You're like boy wonder, you gotta buy some suits that fit. I wasn't the only one that was hammering him on that. It was also Don Jr. And eventually him, and I think it was actually him and Eric, they're like, Charlie, I know you're very frugal. We know that you're very aware that your salary comes from donors. He always wanted to be a really good steward of their capital. But eventually Don and Eric got him a gift certificate, I think it was for his birthday, to a fancy suit place to go get fitted. And the rest is future, right?
Candace, babe, it's giving side chick because these tributes to Charlie Kirk are getting real personal.
Candace, step into my office. You that man before?
Picture this, a prominent political figure dies. His wife gives what many call a calculated eulogy, but his female colleague, she's sobbing, sharing intimate details, posting throwback photos like he was her man. And the internet collectively asks, girl, why are you the side chick? This is not just gossip, folks. This is about power, performance, and how we police women's emotions in the most vulnerable moments of their lives. Buckle up. I have a couple of videos, let us watch, and then I'll be back to give you the whole gist.
Babe, it's giving side chick because these tributes to Charlie Kirk are getting real personal. Now, Candace Owens recently had posted this IG story as her tribute or a farewell tribute to her good friend Charlie Kirk. Now, it's understandable that they were very close, and she has a lot of cuts and snippets of, their careers like growing together. But I'm not going to sit here and try to normalize this, but I do feel bad for her because she lost her friend. That's about it. Now, after she had posted this IG story, people started taking to the comments like, girl, it's giving side chick. Now, may his soul rest in peace. I'm talking about Rich Homie Quan. Do you guys remember when Rich Homie Quan had passed away and a bunch of women had came out of the woodwork saying that they had a relationship with him and they missed him and he was like their bestie? That's what this is giving. Like, this is more of a heartfelt tribute from a side piece than we actually saw from his wife. So a lot of people had flooded her comments like, girl, was you the side chick? Because it's very much giving side chick. While others are saying, this was just her friend and she loved him dearly. Sure, friend. Now, as I already predicted to you guys when we were live streaming last night, I stated that Candace Owens was going to go down the Alex Jones pipeline. She was going to take Charlie Kirk's death and launch a full-blown Alex Jones-esque conspiracy theory behind it. And she's already starting with Nick Fuentes. So 5 days prior, Nick Fuentes, or however you pronounce his name, had actually came after Candace Owens, and in a statement on his live stream on Rumble, he had said that Candace Owens is no different than somebody by the name of Irana Zurika. I think she was the woman who was killed on a train or a bus. Nick Fuentes also stated that if he saw Candace Owens walking down the street, he'd walk the other way simply because she was Black. Now, Candace had quote tweeted these statements and his sentiment about her from Rumble. And she said just 24 hours later, he would be preaching to his audience about the gospel of Jesus Christ. And stop, Candace. In the wake of Charlie's death. So she's basically stating that Nick Fuentes did like this 180, right? Or 360, however you say it. I think he did a 180 where he was bashing her and saying that he wouldn't even help her if he saw her walking down the street if she were assaulted, essentially. I think that's what he's saying. And she's saying, now look at him preaching the teachings of Jesus Christ. Now, Candace also stated on her Twitter that she actually had to sit down and talk with a priest because she was so angry. And she honestly doesn't know where the anger is stemmed from. That's why I think she's going to go down this conspiracy theory pipeline. She had also posted about different videos and screen images from the day of Charlie Kirk's killing. And she said, was this person investigated? What about that person? Was that person even looked at? And now she's also laying her conspiracy theories on the FBI and stating that they did not launch a full proper investigation. Now, if Candace Owens posts anything else in regards to her full launch of conspiracy theory investigation into Charlie Kirk's death pops up, I'm going to keep you guys posted. And pray for her, y'all, because apparently she done lost her best eater.
In the end, Charlie was going through a spiritual transformation. I don't think it, I know it. He was going through a lot and there was a lot of pressure. It's hard for me to watch the people who were pressuring him say the things that they're saying. There's something about it that just feels really fake. Feels really fake to me. They would have allowed him to lose and wanted him to lose everything for changing or even slightly modifying an opinion, and then to see them doing what they're doing today. It's hurtful to me, but I don't want today to be about anything other than you guys knowing that Charlie really was an amazing person. You know, he was like, we were really close, and he was my best friend and my brother, and I will never unsee the footage of what I saw. I pray for the people who took any pleasure in that. I would never, there's not a single person in the world that I would wish that on, and least of all, someone with a heart like Charlie's. It is so important for me to make sure that you guys understand how absolutely hilarious Charlie was. Charlie was hilarious, okay? He did not take himself too seriously. He was so good at doing imitations and accents. Anybody, any imitation, any accent, he was just on the money. And all we did was laugh. It's all you can do and laugh. People were just so crazy all the time. When I was reading through the chat today, I was just laughing with just tears in my eyes, thinking of the many road trips that we took, so many hours spent just talking trash to one another, making fun of one another. One of the best moments that I can think of, and there's so many to choose from.
Candace, step into my office. You fucked that man before? You and that man had more than a friendship, or what? Because if I was Charlie Kirk's wife, I'd be looking at you real sideways. Because, bitch, why are you crying more than me? Why are you shedding more tears than I am? Don't mind my lace or my nail. I'm fucked up right now. But why are you more upset than I am? That lady got up in front of that podium and said her speech and didn't shed not one real solid tear. But you're over here posting videos and crying? Bawling your eyes out? Posting throwbacks? As if that was your man. Candace. Was you fucking? Candace, was y'all hunching? Cause girl, focus, not my lace, okay? But focus what I'm saying. If that was my man and another woman was crying like Candace been crying, Candace has been grieving, going through it. Candace, babe, look me in the eyes and tell me you ain't been fucking that man.
I once again went so far left, I made a fucking right. Charlie Kirk and Candace Owens. I just came back from that rabbit hole. Look, just go into the rabbit hole, come back and tell me what you think.
Charlie dance. Candace Owens is grieving in the way that I thought that Charlie Kirk's wife would grieve. Like the raw emotion, the real tears, the passion, like it's very genuine that she's like upset about his passing. Like I don't feel bad, but like it does get very much genuine that they had a good friendship, relationship, whatever they had, okay? And here's the thing, I'm not the grief police. I'm not here to tell people how to mourn. Grief looks different in everybody. And I know that if my loved one was murdered, my immediate reaction would be anger. But even with anger, there's tears, there's still passion. And I just don't get that from her. It's very stoic, it's very performative, it's very scripted. It's like they were very calculated at, you know, how she came out and spoke. And it's like, this is not even just your husband. This is the father of your children. Like, I just expect more emotion than what I saw. Even the pictures of her, like, you know, the pictures and the videos of her like rubbing his body and baby I love you, and it just doesn't give, like, it gives arranged marriage, and it just gives that she's going to be remarried within the next year. Like, she might be the traditional wife that just shuts up, okay? I don't know, I really don't know. But it's also crazy how she has like this spirit like of vengeance, kind of like, you don't know what y'all just started. And it's just like, you do realize that like it's people that you should be aligned with. Like y'all are all, you know, radical MAGA supporters. I think that they're kind of delusional. There, a lot of Charlie Kirk fans are delusional. Like you do realize that it wasn't a liberal. Like it wasn't us. Like I don't.
Welcome back to the channel, good people. But when Candace Owens delivered her tribute to Charlie Kirk, she didn't just mourn. She performed grief in a way that made people uncomfortable. And that discomfort, it reveals everything about how we expect women to behave, even in death. Let's start with the facts. Owens cried real tears, raw emotions. She shared personal anecdotes, how they bickered over parking, his terrible eating habits, their dynamic like an old married couple. She's called him her best friend and brother, and the internet lost its collective mind like, girl, what do you mean? Meanwhile, Kirk's actual wife, Erica, delivered what many perceived as a more stoic tribute. Professional, measured, and suddenly she's being compared to Serena Joy from the Handmaid's Tale, the cold, calculating wife in a transactional marriage. Here's where it gets philosophically twisted. We are witnessing the real-time construction of a narrative that says a woman's worth is measured by her emotional labor, but only the right kind of emotional labor expressed in the right way by the right person. The side chick accusations against Owens ain't just internet trolling. They are a sophisticated form of social control. When a woman expresses deep, genuine emotion for a man who isn't her husband, we have exactly one framework to understand it. She might be sleeping with him. This is the patriarchal imagination at work. It cannot conceive of a world where women can have deep, meaningful friendships with men, professional relationships can evolve into genuine brotherhood, intellectual partnerships can create emotional bonds. No. If a woman cries too much for a man, if she knows him too well, if she grieves with the intensity typically reserved for romantic partners, she must be a mistress. Because God forbid we acknowledge that sometimes friends know us better than our spouses. The comparison between Erica Kirk and Candace Owens is brutal revealing. Erica is criticized for not being emotional enough, for failing to show us Charlie's humanity, for giving a speech that felt performative rather than heartfelt. She's supposed to be the keeper of his personal story, the one who reveals the man behind the political figure. But here's the kicker. When Owens does exactly that, when she humanizes Kirk, shows his quirks, his humor, his complexity, she's accused of overstepping her boundaries. This is the impossible position women are placed in. Wives are expected to be the emotional architects of their husbands' legacies, but if they fail to perform grief correctly, they are conned. And if another woman steps in to fill that emotional void, she's inappropriate. We've created a grief hierarchy where only certain people are allowed to feel certain things, and we police those boundaries with the ferocity of middle school hall monitors. Now, Owens has pivoted from Mourning investigation. She's questioning the circumstances of Kirk's death, hinting at conspiracy theories, invoking the FBI. Let me tell you something about Alexion's pipeline, and maybe she's, but let's zoom out for a second. When someone you love dies unexpectedly, denial is often the first stage of grief. Sometimes that denial manifests as conspiracy thinking, a desperate attempt to make sense of senseless loss, to find someone to blame, to maintain the illusion that death isn't random and cruel. But of course, yes, Charlie was shot. His life was taken away. The rush to pathologize Owens' response as conspiracy theories might be missing the deeper psychological truth here. She's not ready to accept that someone she cared about is simply gone. That's not political illusion. That's human. Yeah, I understand. Me too. I understand. Here is what really happens. We're witnessing the collision between public figures, personal relationships, and their political personas. And in that collision, women always lose. They lose. They are fighting a losing battle, man. If you're the wife, you're supposed to be the grieving widow. Emotional, crying, falling on the ground, but not too emotional. Personal, but not too revealing. Strong, but not too stoic. Get it wrong, and you're either a call opportunist, or you're using your husband's death as a career launch, or you're not a woman enough to properly mourn your man. Human beings. If you're the female colleague, you're supposed to maintain professional distance. Mourn appropriately, but not too deeply. I don't know if you're getting this. Share memories, but not too intimate ones. Support the family, but don't outshine the widow. Step outside these bonds, and you're either a homebreaker or an attention seeker. The real tragedy isn't just Charlie Kirk's death. It's how quickly we turned two women's grief into a competitive performance where neither could win. Let's talk about how we got here. Social media has transformed private grief into public commodity. Every tear, every word, every photo is dissected, analyzed, memed. Like, you guys are behaving like unpaid sleuths. Owens didn't just mourn Charlie Kirk. She mourned him in the age of TikTok, where anything you say is put under a tiny microscope. Her grief became content. His death became discourse. The relationship became debate fodder. This is the new reality for public figures like Candace Owens. Your most vulnerable moments become everyone's entertainment. Your authentic emotions become everyone's evidence. They use it against you. Your personal relationships becomes everyone's jury trial. Jury trial. And we, the audience, we consume it all. We analyze facial expressions for authenticity. We compare tear volume for sincerity. We construct elaborate theories about who loved who more based on social media posts and speech patterns. We are very weird. I can't say that. We are very weird. What strikes me the most about this entire controversy is about obsession with authentic grief. Multiple people have noted that you cannot act around true grief, that fake emotions will just show. But who appointed us the grief police? Who gave us the authority to determine whose tears are real and whose are fake? Like, who is mourning in reality and who is just giving a performance? The truth is, all public grief is a performative to some degree. The moment you mourn in front of cameras, on social media, at public events, you are performing grief for an audience. Yes, you are. That doesn't make it less real. Anyway, you are mourning, but yes, yeah, it's true. It just makes it more complicated. Like, people judge you. Maybe Erika Kirk's composed eulogy wasn't calculated. Maybe that's how she processes loss. Maybe that's how she mourns her husband. Maybe she's not comfortable being vulnerable in front of crowds. She's just being strong for herself. Maybe her grief is private, expressed in moments we'll never see. And maybe Candace Owens' emotional display wasn't inappropriate. Maybe that's just how she loves. Maybe her friendships are intense, her loyalty is deep, her emotions unguarded. Maybe, just maybe, and I want you guys to hear me out. Both women are just human beings trying to navigate loss in an inhuman fishbowl of public scrutiny. The comparisons to fictional characters, right? Owens as Olivia Pope, Erika Serena Joy, reveal how we understand real people through fictional frames. We need familiar narratives to make sense of complex emotions. But real life is not scandal. The Handmaid's Tale. Real relationships don't fit neatly into wife, mistress, or friend categories. Real grief doesn't follow television scripts. Okay. When we overlay fictional archetypes onto real people's pain, we are not analyzing, we are fantasizing. We are turning human complexity into consumable drama. And instead of asking whether Candace Owens has Charlie Kirk's, was Charlie Kirk's side chick, maybe we should be asking why we're so uncomfortable with deep platonic relationships between men and women. Instead of critiquing how his wife mourned, maybe we should examine why we expect women to perform their pain for our satisfaction. Instead of turning grief into gossip, maybe we should consider what we lose when we make someone's most vulnerable moment our entertainment. Like, we are just weird human beings. The real question isn't how love Charlie Kirk more, who loved Charlie Kirk more. It's why we think love is competition, why we think grief is a performance, and why we think we have the right to judge either. Here's what this entire controversy reveals about us, by the way. We are so starved for authentic emotion in our political discourse that when we see it, we immediately distrust it. We're so conditioned to view women through the lens of sexual competition that we can't imagine them as complex individuals with multifaceted relationships. Like, we can have platonic relationship, guys. Stop being weird. We've created a culture where public figures can't be human without being scrutinized. Where women can't feel deeply without being questioned. Where grief can't exist without being graded. And maybe, just maybe, that says less about Candace Owens or Rika Kirk and more about the emotional poverty of public discourse. The next time you see someone grieving in public, really grieving, messily, imperfectly, authentically, resist the urge to analyze, resist the urge to compare, resist the urge to judge. Because in the end, death doesn't care about our political affiliations, your relationship status, or your social media strategy. Death just takes. It doesn't care. And those left behind, all of them deserve better than becoming our entertainment. Let us just let them grieve in peace, mourn in peace. The politics of public grief isn't about who cries hardest or speaks most eloquently. It's about recognizing that behind every public figure is a human being, and behind every human being is a web of relationships too complex for our simple narratives. Charlie Kirk is gone, yes, but we've turned his death into a referendum on women's emotions. That says everything about who we are as a society and who we are choosing to be. Right? So, good people, stop being weird. Let us let these people mourn in peace. Thank you for watching. Like, share, comment, and subscribe. Let us become a family. Let us become a community. Thank you. Hope to see you in my next video.